Thank you all for coming in such large numbers. I was not expecting such a big turnout. So thank you very much for coming and being here in this wonderful, beautiful evening. Peter mentioned resurgence and ecologists. Now, the ecologists and resurgence have merged together, and so they have become one magazine. It's a good example of collaboration. But Resurgence was established in 1966, and I came to England in 1973, and I met E.F. Schumacher, the author of Small is Beautiful, and he was one of the editors. And he said, Satish, we need a full-time editor of this magazine, and I think you should take it over. And I said, but Mr. Schumacher, I want to go back to India. I'm here only for a short visit. And he said, why do you want to go back to India? So I said, you know, I work with the Gandhian movement, so I want to work with the Gandhians. And so Schumacher said, but Satish, there are many Gandhians in India. We need one in England. And so please stay and edit the magazine. So I said, Mr. Schumacher, you are very persuasive. On one condition, I will accept your invitation. So he said, what is your condition? I said, if you promise that you will contribute an article in every issue. Because you need somebody, if you have a magazine, you need somebody like Schumacher to contribute some wise, thoughtful articles. And he said, all right, that's the deal. You become the editor and I'll be regular writer. And so until he died in 1977, in every issue, 6 times a year, he contributed an article. And that gave us a kind of foundation for the magazine. The vision, the values, spirituality, art, ecology, everything are part of one great philosophy of life. And Schumacher wrote a very famous essay, apart from his beautiful book called Small is Beautiful, a very famous essay called Buddhist Economics. And that's a classic essay and became part of the book, Small is Beautiful. And in that essay, and particularly title, you can see, no Western economist before Schumacher dared to put those such 2 words together, Buddhist economics. And many people asked him, because he was a very famous economist working for the National Coal Board and writing for the Times and friend of John Maynard Keynes and all that. So people said, Mr. Schumacher, what Buddhism has to do with economics? And Schumacher would say that Buddhism represents spiritual, moral, ethical values. And if your economics has no moral, spiritual, ethical, and ecological values, environmental values, then economics is meaningless. There's no meaning in it. So in order to make economics, you have to have other values, particularly the value of ecology. And then I have developed further ideas about balance and relationship between economy and ecology. And not long ago, I was invited to speak at the London School of Economics. And I was very delighted and honored to be invited to such a prestigious university to speak to professors and students and lecturers and so on. And so when I arrived there, I asked my host professor, and she was wonderful, and I said, where is your department for ecology? And you know what the answer was? We don't have one. And then I went to speak, and the audience, lots of lecturers and students and professors, and I said, I am sorry to say, but without ecology, economics is useless. The word ecology and economy come from the same Greek roots, Greek word. Ekos means house, home, household. Now, in the wisdom of the Greek philosophers, your home is not only where you live, you have a bedroom, bathroom, living room, kitchen, garden, but it extends further and further. So if you are in Lewis is your home. If you are in Sussex, Sussex is your home. If you are in England, England is your home. You are in Europe, Europe is your home. And eventually, the entire planet is our home. What a beautiful philosophy, the Greek thinking. The big vision, oikos, means planet home. And what is a home? Home is a place of relationships. So where you have a home, you have your kith and kin. You have your father, your mother, your wife, your husband, your sons, your daughters, your little beautiful children. That's your home. Home is a place of relationships. And logos, from which the word comes ecology, logos means knowledge, like logic, knowledge, how everything works, how everything fits together, how all the relationships work. Study the knowledge of your home is ecology. And economy is nomos, ecos and nomos. Nomos means management. So I said to the students and lecturers and professors of the LSE, I said, you are teaching economy, meaning you are teaching the management of the household. But you don't teach what is household. Now, how are you going to manage something which you don't know? So ecology and economy must go together. That's the kind of Buddhist economics, ecological economics. And so no wonder that the world economy is in a mess. Because you are sending thousands upon thousands of students, graduates, educated at LSE into the world, Africa, India, America, Europe, everywhere. And they are managing something which they don't know. How are you going to manage something which you don't know? And therefore, please change. I said in the public meeting of LSE, they didn't take it, but I said it. I said, please change the name of your university. And call it LSEE, London School of Ecology and Economics. Then you are teaching properly educating. At the moment, all our universities, not only LSE, but Oxford, Cambridge, Bristol, Edinburgh, Paris, New Delhi, Harvard, anything, everywhere. They are all teaching economics, business studies, tremendous space for it, tremendous amount of money for it, but no study of ecology. And even if you are studying ecology, the meaning of ecology has been reduced to a very minimum meaning, which is study of one particular species. Ecology is not study of one particular species. Ecology is a word which means relationship among species. We are all related. We are all connected. We are all interdependent. We are in our one body. We are microcosm of macrocosm. It's a wonderful ecology. Our body is a wonderful ecology. If there's no sunshine, there'll be no Satish, and no child, and no woman, and no man, and no house, and no food. So, in our body, there's sunshine. If there's no soil, there'll be no body. If there's no food, I cannot exist. If there's no water, I cannot exist. I exist in relationships. We are all made of each other. We are made of the soil, earth, air, fire, water, sunshine, history. We are made of consciousness. We are made of spirit. We are soulful. And everything in this universe is soulful. The tree has soul, and the spirit, and the sunshine. And the worm, earthworm, has spirit. Everything is made of consciousness. Without consciousness, there is nothing. And so this universal big vision, if we do not have that in our education, then our students leave the universities, and why they are studying there? They are studying there to get a job. I started a college in the name of Schumacher, in honor of Schumacher, called Schumacher College at Dartington. And I say to my students that when you leave Schumacher College, don't look for a job. Don't look for employment. Don't seek a job. Create your own job. Because when you are an employee, you cannot use your imagination. You cannot use your creativity. You cannot use your ingenuity. You have to follow the rules of the company. Big business, big company. And you have to follow it. Your boss has to give you ideas and orders and rules. And you have to follow to please the boss. So being an employee, in my view, is sort of demeaning your creativity and your imagination and your own vocation, your own inner calling. So I encourage my students to go out and become eco-entrepreneurs, like Martin and Samira have created this wonderful place. It's a kind of eco-entrepreneurship. So go and start a whole food shop. Go and start a garden. Go and start a school or a college, or go and start a magazine. Anything, whichever comes to your vocation. Listen to your own inner voice, in your inner calling, and be who you are. You are not here to be just an employee. You are not here just to get a job. Not here just to have a bit of money so that you can pay the bills. You are here to fulfill a greater purpose. As Peter said, to transform this world and create a beautiful world, a beautiful life. How do you create that if you are only an employee? If you do not follow your own inner voice, inner calling, your vocation. In Bhagavad Gita, in Indian, a great book of spirituality, it's called Bhagavad Gita. We call it Swadharma, which is your own particular vocation. Because each and every one of us come in this world with a particular special purpose. And that purpose has to be discovered. We have to fulfill that purpose in our life. Every one of us are unique. Even if we speak English, still we have our own voice. Even if we have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 2 lips and 2 arms and 2 legs, similar body, but each person is different. In the same way, each person has their own swadharma, their own inner spirit, their own vocation. And that vocation has to be fulfilled and discovered. Who am I? Why have I come here? And who am I? That's a deep and profound question which every one of us have to ask every day. It's not, and when you say, who am I? Am I an Indian? Am I an English? Am I editor? Am I this body? Am I my name? Am I my status? Am I editor? Who am I? The moment you ask a deeper and deeper and deeper question, you realize that you are more than an Indian. You are more than an editor. You are more than an accountant. You are more than a doctor. You are more than an editor. You are more than a writer. You are more than your body. You are pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness has to manifest through your imagination, through your creativity, to make this world a beautiful place. Your contribution. So every one of us have a special gift. And that gift we can transform into manifesting and making something. Now, there's a word poet. Poet. The word poet, generally understood as someone who puts beautiful words like Ted Hughes or William Blake or Wordsworth or Rabindranath Tagore or somebody who put beautiful words together. They are called poets. But the word poet does not really mean only putting words together. The poet means maker. Poiesis means making. Poiesis, autopoiesis, self-maker. So every one of us are a potential poet. And not only putting words together, but making a beautiful house is a poetry. Making a beautiful garden is a poetry. Preparing a beautiful dinner is a poetry. Preparing nice shoes and clothes is a poetry. Creating a house like this is a poetry. This house, this place, this zoo center, the studio, is a poetry. So uniqueness, poetry cannot be copied. A Tagore cannot copy Shakespeare. A William Blake cannot copy Wordsworth or vice versa. A Ted Hughes cannot copy Shelley or Keats. They have to bring their own inner imagination. And that is poetry. So we are all poets, not employees. Poets. I want everybody to be poet and artist and not an employee. This is why I say to my students at Schumacher College that go out in the world and become a poet and create your own vocation and job and work and create something which will make this world a beautiful place, a poetic place. And so there is another great philosopher in India called Ananda Kumara Swami. And he said, an artist is not a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of artist. Isn't it beautiful? An artist is not a special kind of person, but every person, every one of us here in this room are artists. But our art is suppressed. Our education, our conditioning, our family, our religion, our communities, they all say, no, you are not an artist, you are just an accountant. You are not an artist, you are just a lawyer. You are not an artist, you are just a gardener. But gardening is an art. Even practicing law can be an art if you practice artistically and imaginatively and creatively. So everything we have to transform into work of art. So we are all artists. And if we were all artists making poetry, we will not be making the mess of the world which we are making today. All our environmental crisis, our economic crisis, our spiritual crisis, our social crisis, all the kind of conflicts we have today is because we have forgotten that the life is a work of art. And the greatest art is art of living. And out of that art of living, all the other arts emerge. So cooking becomes an art. And not only the celebrity chefs who are artists, like Jamie Oliver or Hugh Fernley Whittingstall or some others. But we don't have to be famous. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be in the newspapers to be an artist. You can be a humble but creative artist at your own home. And if we were living like that, then our land, our farms, our workshops, everything will have humanity. It will have soul. This is why I have created a trinity called soil, soul, and society. Soil is soulful. We have to take care of the soil. At the moment, we all want to eat, but nobody wants to grow. In Britain now, hardly 1% of people are on the land. How are we going to? All our food is coming from somewhere, all factory farms. I was telling Peter, in North Devon, we have a factory farm of cows. 4,000 cows in one dairy farm. 4,000 cows. And they are milked by robots. Not by humans, by robots. The machines are put by robots in the udders. And everything is automatically kind of controlled by computer system. What kind of soil is that? How are we treating our soil? And everybody is busy saying only way to bring economy right is to build more infrastructure, more airports. We don't have enough Heathrow terminals and runways, so let us have fourth terminal, fourth runway, or third runway, or whatever. Or Boris Johnson wants a new airport somewhere in London, Thames Estuary. So we are, or new high-speed railway, or more new housing. But when we have built the entire countryside with railways and high-speed railways and motorways and housing estates and cities and airports, then what will we do? It's a small island. If you go on building, 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 and after 5 years, 10 years, when the whole countryside is destroyed, then what will be your economy? So we have to have our economy which is based in our ecology. Economy which is cyclical and not linear. Every year I have been here in Britain for 40 years, and every year I notice that governments talk about economic crisis. Always. Even when there's a 3-4% economic growth, still they say economic crisis. Economy, economy, economy. I chant a mantra. My mantra is Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And when politicians hear me chanting this mantra, they say, oh, what is this wishy-washy mantra? We don't believe in mantra chanting. But then I say to them, but you are chanting mantra. Your mantra is economic growth, economic growth, economic growth, economic growth. Which is a better mantra? I'm chanting for peace. Shanti means peace. Peace all over, peace in the world. And you are chanting economic growth, economic growth. So how you can have this linear economic growth in a finite planet? Infinite or unlimited economic growth in a finite planet. So we have to learn to respect the limits of material growth. Limits of material growth is very important, because limit ensures freedom. If there is no limit, there can be no freedom. You want to eat. You must be free to eat. But then you must know how much to eat. The moment you have eaten, maybe 80% of your hunger, or 90%, 95%, 99%, stop there. Don't go 100%. But definitely don't go over 100%. Otherwise you'll be sick. You want to drink wine, nice wine, have to be a limit. You can say, all right, I'll have a glass or 2 glasses. That's enough. If you have too much wine, next day you have a hangover. Limit brings freedom and joy. You can enjoy your wine. You can enjoy your food. Even when you want, I don't do it, but people do tweeting. Is it called tweeting or twittering? Tweeting. And they tell me that there's a limit. Only you can send 140 characters. That's interesting. I edit Researchers magazine, and when people write for me, I say, you have 1,000 words. Please send me an article of 1,000 words. That's a limit. And in those 1,000 words, you can express what you like. I can't give you unlimited words. You have to have a limit. So limit is an insurance for freedom. Within limit, our body is limited. Within that limit of body, I can have unlimited imagination. I can have unlimited spirit. So that freedom of the spirit, the free spirit, can only come in this limited body. If I became grow, economic growth, body growth, and I became 7 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, what will be of me? I won't be able to stay in this room or get in this room. I'll be too tall or too large. So body gets to an optimum size and stops growing. There's a limit of the body, and that's beautiful. You have 5'6" or 5'7" or 5'8" or something. That's enough within that limit. So you can see how our economics must have a limit, and within that limit, create beautiful things which will bring you joy and pleasure and artistry and creativity and craftsmanship. We have lost the skills, the hand skills. Our children are not taught anything to make. Only thing they can do is use computers or keyboards or mobile phones. But what else can they make? Our young people don't know how to build a house, how to do pottery. Pottery has become a studio pottery. A few great crafts, men or women, will make nice pottery. But generality of people can only use computer, keyboard, and otherwise very little. We don't build houses, we don't make clothes, we don't make furniture ourselves. Everything is made in factories. If our society is de-skilled, what will be the future? So we need skills, and we need imagination, and we need creativity. And so work becomes important. It's not only to get money or get income, but work is an expression of our creativity and our imagination. And this is why I call it poetry.